Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video we're going to be scraping lichess.org, and I want to scrape the games for a particular player, all the blitz games, say. And the problem here is that if you just navigate to your own account and go to blitz and view the games, then here you see all the games you've ever played at lichess. And here is this nice little cute button like export games, which would download the PGN files of your own games. But in case if you would like to go for the games of somewhat different player than yourself, and you're not being logged in as that player, of course, in that case this nice little cute button disappears for some reason. So I'm a big fan of Kingscrusher, who is a British chess YouTuber, so I would like to have his games, say just Kingscrusher YouTube here, and I would really like to have his kind of games that he played in Blitz, or maybe in Bullet as well. Let's see how much there's. So Bullet, oh, it's much more games in Bullet and much less. Well, let's probably have his Blitz games this time. And the problem is here that, as you can see now, there is no export games button. Well, I'm not sure what's the exact reason for not providing this option to download the games from somewhat different player than your own self. But still, that's kind of the starting point of a desire to write a scraper that would actually extract the games, the game data itself from this list, and then eventually would store that response to the CSV to the PGN file. So what we're supposed to be doing here basically is to scrape all the games. So this list is being loaded dynamically using the API call. Let me just quickly show you that. So if I just invoke my developer tools here and go to the network tab, if I just try to scroll down a bit, eventually you'll see like here he downloads somewhat new pages. So this is the exact source we're supposed to be scraping data from. And if you just have a look basically at this URL itself, so just go to the headers and try to grab the URL. I don't really want to have the page number 3, but instead I want the page number 1. And here I'm not going to scroll down that much just to avoid uploading new elements. So I need just to calculate how many games are available per one page in order to calculate the loop range for the loop range of the API calls. Well, that can be basically done. Okay, just not to inspect. I just want to have a look at the source code instead. View page source, and here if we look for the games, so it's called the game row overlay. And if we just copy this and paste, we see that we have actually 12 games per page. Okay, but first, so we will make things scalable as always. So first, we'll just simply extract the data, the list of the games, and not really the list of the games, but the list of the links to the games. And then we will be navigating to each particular game and extracting this kind of data, the PGN data, so like a portable game notation. So I mean the chess game notation itself. So if I have a look at the page source here, then suddenly we see that it has a nice little cute div of class PGN, and here you can basically easily scrape the entire game quite easily. So if you're interested in creating this sort of a scraper and learn something regarding Python Scrapy framework, as far as we're supposed to use that in this tutorial, I'd like to welcome you all, and let's actually start writing some code. So here in the current working directory I have the file called chessgames.py, and the first thing to consider, we need to import some packages. So we'll need to import Scrapy itself, and from scrapy.crawler import crawler process in order to being able to write this spider class that we'll create just right now from within a Python script. So here we'll consider the chess games scraper class, and we'll call this class of chess games scraper, and this would inherit from the basic scrapy.spider class, which is the general purpose crawler to extract data from the websites. So we need also to provide the name for it. So let's call this chess games scraper. It's just needed to make it actually possible to run this stuff. And here is the main driver for our scraper. So I can simply say if name equals to main. Well, in this case, we need to create then an instance of the crawler process. So I say process equals crawler process, and we need to say process.crawl and the name of our spider as an argument here being passed. And also we need to say process.start in order actually to invoke our scraping program here. So now let me just quickly open the terminal with the current working directory and type python 3 chessgames.py, and I hope that it would kind of run now. Okay, so the scraper instance seems to be loaded correctly. So now let's consider the following steps we're supposed to go through. So the very first link to consider would be this one. Okay, so we will be looping over the pages, but well, so probably let me just try quickly to grab this kind of stuff here, and I create, so this is the scraper, or maybe spider, better to say spider name, and here we'll have our base URL to scrape data from. So I say base URL equals and this stuff here. So well, probably we need to limit this base URL up to this search, I wonder. Yeah, so just we will be adding the parameters later on within the start requests. So actually here, like start crawling. So the start requests is a Scrapy specific default method to start crawling, to start actually making requests. Pretty straightforward, right? So def start requests, and it would only take the self instance, and that's kind of it. So here we'll be using the next URL variable, and this would be equal to base URL, not the base but self dot base URL, and plus what we got over here, but we also need okay, like this. So here we'll be specifying the page variable. For now, I will make the page variable equals to 1, but later on, when we will be doing this within the for loop, just looping over all of the pages, this page would be the variable from the for loop itself. But before ever doing that, we first need to make sure that we can extract data out of this URL as well. So first, let's actually try to print our next URL to make sure it looks reasonable and makes sense. So okay, must be string, not integer. Yeah, and also we'll need to stringify our page, of course. So try this one more time. Well, this is just fine for a while, and here is our link. That error is because we didn't actually crawl anything. So let me just try to grab this link and copy and try to paste somewhere in the new tab to make sure that this link is formulated correctly. And okay, so it seems to have some sort of response. Also, I'm not sure whether that is essentially needed or not, but we can actually try to make use of the headers. So I wouldn't be specifying all the headers, but just the bare user agent to make sure that lichess would think that we're crawling this with the browser. Well, maybe not really necessarily needed, but still I think that might make some sense. So I say here like custom headers. Well, yeah, it's only the user agent, but still. So I create the headers variable of the type of Python dictionary and paste my browser specific key and value in this dictionary, so the user agent and all this stuff. Okay, and now we can actually yield our request by saying yield Scrapy dot request and provide several parameters here. So the first one would be the URL itself, that would be equals to the next URL. Well, let's call this next page, basically next page here, and like this. Okay, also we need to specify the headers, that would be equal to self.headers, and also I want to call the callback function as far as Scrapy is built on top of Twisted Internet library, which is an asynchronous HTTP library for Python. So callback would be equal self.parse, like this. And now actually we can say here we'll be parsing parse game list. Okay, and here we'll call this function def parse, like this. Well, maybe even parse, maybe call this better like this, game list. Okay, and here parse game list as well. So it would take the self instance as always and also the response object. So it would just try to print response dot status code, and here just to make sure that we're actually firing our callback function. So let's say just response, and hope to see the 200 response there, which means that response is actually okay. So name Scrapy, so I just misspelled the Scrapy. Okay, Scrapy. Okay. Okay, so now it seems like we got our response correctly, which is pretty nice, good news basically. Okay, so from now on, our goal is actually to extract the list of the links. So as we've already found out, figured that out, that the class game row overlay, it's only like 12 within in here, and no need basically to look for some sort of a parent class, I believe. So so is this a div actually, or what is this? Let me just quickly check that out. So no, it's not a div, it's basically a tag. So game row overlay. So let's try to extract this kind of guys here. So I can simply say games would be equal response.css. We're looking for the a tag of the class game row overlay. We want to make use of an attribute called hrefs, so we're looking for the hrefs, and we need to get all the links out of there. So let's try to print basically as far as, so okay, here I just say extract game links, and here we need to loop over game links. Okay, so I say for game in games, and first I just want to print the game itself, which would be the link, I believe. So let's try to have a look at that first. So print game, trying to run this one more time. So now I hope to see the list of the available games from out there. Okay, so this is kind of it, and now we can simply use the response.follow standard Scrapy method basically to follow the links recursively. So now probably okay. So instead of bringing the game, so game itself is the URL. So here we can simply say response dot follow, and the URL would be equal to game this time, and the headers as always equals to self dot headers, and the callback function now would be equal to self dot parse game. So parse game list, and this is would be the parse game or parse PGN, doesn't matter really. So now we need okay, so not just like this, but we need also to yield this kind of stuff. And now here we say parse game PGN. Oh, maybe just parse game. So def and parse game, and the self instance and the response object as usual for the parsing callbacks. So now we need to go to some sort of a game link here. So we're looking for div class PGN, and just need to extract all the text out of there. So here also we need to I just want to break after yielding the very first game, just to avoid torturing during the debugging process, avoid torturing the lichess itself. So here so what are we supposed to have? Probably this would be the PGN equals response dot CSS and div dot class, div dot PGN basically, and we want to get all the text out of this, and we want to get the single element because there is only one, and also we would probably want to change this quote to a real quote, I believe. Maybe single quote or double quotes, but first I just need to see what's the output is supposed to be look like. So let's just try to run this one more time. Okay, something wrong with an indentation here, I'm sorry guys. Okay, so just fix the indentation error, and now we want to print our PGN. So I hold my breath and try to run this stuff one more time and hope to see the PGN game being extracted. And it seems like it is, and even no need to convert those quotes because they are seems like already being in the right format. So probably would need to add a couple of new lines after the game, because that's specific to the PGN format itself, in order to for the file being available for the person within the chess programs like Chessbase or Arena, the free alternative, really nice one. Okay, so basically here I believe that we can already create the PGN appending the PGN games writing logic to the file. So here I just add a little command, so extract PGN, and here write PGN game to file. And so here we can simply say like with open, and we'll call this Kingscrusher .pgn. Okay, we want to write the file stream as file, and we want to say, oh, not write, we will be appending, sorry guys, we'll be appending this stuff. And here I just want to say f.write, and I'll use this PGN plus, and I'm not sure, do I have to add a couple of or just one new line character would be enough. Well, we'll see this just right in the moment after I just comment out this break statement. So I'll hold my breath and try to run this stuff one more time and hope to see the Kingscrusher.pgn as the output file here. So now it goes through all of the games, all the 12 games basically over the first page. So let's see. Okay, so it seems like it's not really that enough to have only one. So we need, so usually PGN files are formatted like this. So there are kind of two more new line fits there should be. So I just kill this file, delete this, and here I just add a couple more new lines, and let's try to run this stuff one more time. And now guys, what's the really brilliancy regarding this stuff, that you can literally download the games for whatever player out of lichess, and there are really lots of strong players out there. So later on you can even build a database based on this kind of games. So you would have some sort of an opening book based on the players games basically. So I'm not really sure regarding the game is just the single line format here, but well, I believe that's just kind of fine basically. Okay, and now the last thing we need to add here is actually try to not doing this for the single page, but also would like to look over the pages within the start request as was mentioned before. So here I can simply say for page in range from so we're starting with page 1, right, from 1 to, and now we need to calculate how many pages. So if remember that we saw that there are 12 games per page. Now let's see how many games. Okay, so 1800s and 102 games. So just let me invoke my calculator quickly. So we just need to say 1800s 102 divide by, where is the division? Oh man, divide by 12, right? So it's like 15 thousandths, and okay, so that's the number of pages basically. So let me just try to check that idea. So if I just say here 1508, so if this link resource to old, so something's going wrong here. I'm not really sure why this page. Okay, this is, so for some reason, well, maybe I just miscalculated something. So let's have the page number south, and basically this is still not that great. Okay, so I'm just wondering how many pages there are available actually. So let's try to 500. So this is really getting strange, to be honest. Resource to old. I have no idea why this. So this is really strange. Okay, let me just try to find out this stuff. Well, okay, it seems like the problem here in scraping all of the data is within this unique key that has to be generated dynamically somehow. So what I've realized until this moment is it seems like we're allowed to crawl up to 10 pages basically. So it just seems like to be just kind of fine there. So I'll now just delete this PGN file one more time. So don't need this anymore, and I will just try to scrape the games from up to first 10 pages, and then it's I will need to make some sort of research just to make sure there is a way actually to scrape all of the games. So now let's just try to run our scraper one more time here to see if it does allow us to kind of do something here. So it seems like it's been scraping some sort of a games here. Well, I don't know, maybe if just specifying, well, but I thought just specifying the bigger number of page range would solve the stuff, but you know, like if it doesn't work in the browser, how on earth it's supposed to work within the scraping? I don't know, but you know, like still it seems like it does work for this, the first 10 pages. Okay, so I also hope the games would be actually different, so I hope it won't really be scraping the same games, because it really seems like he's scraping the different kind of pages. Okay, so just until this scraping process is being running here, so let me just try to have a look again, basically here. So here is the reason, basically. So as far as we're going down here, it somehow does generate this sort of a number. So 1, 5, 8, and 2, 4, 3 at the end. Still running. Okay, just finished. Okay, just let me quickly check that. So 1, 5, 8, 3, 2, 8, and here is it's already different. So it's already a different number. So I have no idea if I could ever realize how exactly this number is being generated and where exactly it's being generated. Well, in that case, currently I think that would be possible to actually scrape all the pages. So let me just see if this one is different. Okay, so hold on a sec. So is this the same number? But okay, so we just need to increase this kind of number. That's literally it. Okay, so we just need to increase this number as well. So, well, great. It seems like yeah, if we just take this as a basis. Okay. So first, let me actually find out whether the game, so b3, e5, b3, d5, e4, knight c6, b3. So yeah, seems like the games are different, and here is already quite a lot of games, basically, by Kingscrusher. So okay, let me just rename this 10 pages, and now let's try to implement the logic of crawling up to 1500s of pages with also specifying the increase in this sort of a number. So okay, so if we just gonna extract this number, Control X, and plus let's call this key ID, and also we need to specify the variable key ID equals to this kind of stuff. Okay, so here after yielding the request, after yielding the request, we need actually to say key ID plus equals 1. So the next time it would be changed accordingly. And also here we need to stringify our key ID here, save. And so we probably would be able to see this links. So here they are. So they should be kind of 29, 30, 31, and so on. So now I hold my breath and trying to increase the number to, well, I don't know, 1500s would be too long to wait, but well, at least 50. And here I just say up to I can say set page set maximum pages, max pages up to 1500s like this. Okay, and okay, so this would be lichess specific key. Probably we can call this API key. Okay, and okay, just hold my breath and try to run this stuff one more time and see what happens, basically. Okay, so okay, it seems like this number is being increased, you see, and also we see that it's all a kind of 200 response, which is probably okay, I hope. And so as far as we're getting this games key ID being incremented by 1, well, it seems to be just kind of fine. I'm not sure. So probably this is probably some sort of an anti-scraping measure. It's pretty trivial though, but still. So quite a fun that it works until now. So alright, maybe I just need to pause the record and see what happens. Maybe not, I don't know. So like this would be really nice if this kind of works. And also I'm just wondering if this kind of file would be able to be uploaded by, say, Arena GUI. Well, by the way, we can actually try to test that now. So let me just go and try to find the Arena. So we just run the Arena here, and let's try to open. Okay, it's not that. So let's try to open the PGN. So open, and it's the desktop, Scrapy tutorial, source, chess games, Kingscrusher, 10 pages, open. Okay, so it seems like the PGN is quite pretty valid. Okay, let's try to load some sort of a game, and okay, why not from the very first? Not sure why it doesn't start from the very first. So, but still, this looks like a PGN game, really, and it really seems like to be the Kingscrusher style here. Oh, double bishop ended. This is really interesting. Okay, let's try to open another one. Okay, let's try, see this one. Load. Okay, this starts from the very first. Well, maybe some sort of bug there, I'm not sure. So here's Kingscrusher is playing Nims Larsen. Oh, it's some sort of a gambit style. Whoa, what a fantastic position he has here. Okay. Whoa, this is so fantastic. Okay. Oh, why did he exchange the coins? Well, probably because he's a bishop up here. Well, okay, at least what I can say here that actually this kind of games are treated by the Arena GUI to be completely legal games. Well, I'm not really sure why this kind of game starts from not the very first move. I'm just really wondering why this happens. So let's try to see like Porto Fernandez. Let's try to find this Porto Fernandez. Oh, so here it is. So it doesn't start from the very first move for some reason, and this is really strange. Why? Well, maybe because Kingscrusher did analyze this game and it make it different for some reason. I don't know, but still, this. So do I have? Okay, let's try to actually have a look at the link of the game itself at lichess to see what's going on in here. So probably don't need all this stuff for now. Okay, and just paste and go there. Okay, so how's my scraping process? Okay, it seems like it's still working. Quite a fun. And okay, so it's not started from the very end, from the very beginning for some reason, and I don't know really why. So it's kind of the game itself. Okay, so it's probably nothing to be done with this. I have no idea why this happens basically, but you know, like for some reason. Oh, probably because maybe Kingscrusher did some engine spectating here. I'm not sure really, but definitely this game starts not from the very first move, but from the move number, I don't know, probably 4 or 5, something like that. Okay, so the scraping process is still running. Let's have a look how many games we already have in here in the Kingscrusher.pgn. So already, oh, it's quite pretty lot of games, I believe. and this format is just pretty nice for, at least for Arena GUI as well. Cancel. Oh, so okay, it's been appended dynamically. That's the reason why this behavior of X editor is encountered. Okay, so finally we did actually complete our scraping process. Okay, great. So now let's try to open the Kingscrusher.pgn file, and just to make sure how many games there. So how many games? It seems like 468 games. Well, it's pretty nice basically. Okay, so the very last thing to consider regarding this kind of tutorial is this sort of thing, this sort of stuff, guys. So I believe that this sort of a key ID might not work at the time when you would be running this sort of code, if ever this happens. Here, just add a commentary loop over pages, and in that case you will need to extract your own version of this key ID. Let me quickly show you how that is possible. So when you're just scrolling down, so let's go through all of the steps from the very beginning here. So the very first thing, you just go into this the player's profile here, and has to be something like view games, or is any view games here? Just wondering. No view games. Okay. Search. Maybe just going over here. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, search, and the perf equals to 2. Now we start scrolling down here until here. Yeah, here we have the page number 3. It would be nice to have the page number 1 not available. Okay, and here you will have the key ID that would be probably kind of okay for the time when you will be running that scraper, but that might happen that the key ID that I've used there would be working as well. And also I encourage you guys to try set up the level of the max pages up to 1500s. Just try to scrape all the Kingscrushers blitz games, or whatever players blitz games. So this is kind of it for this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of a format here. And like, this is the very first task, scraping task, that is really interesting to me personally from the data perspective. So I hope you've liked this and enjoyed it and learned something interesting out of it. So until next time, and take care.